Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something really special, the Mercedes W460 G-Wagon, a true legend and the original icon that still shows what a real off-road vehicle is supposed to be. But before we jump in, I've got a huge announcement for you guys. We've officially launched our own car enthusiast shop. From now on, you can get high-quality apparel designed especially for true car lovers. And to match today's video, we just released our brand new G-Wagon t-shirt. If you're into the W460, you're going to love it. Make sure to check the link in the video description. That's where you can head straight to the shop. Your support seriously means a lot. All right, enough talking. Let's jump into the W460. Enjoy the video. The Mercedes W460 was introduced in 1979, originally as a pure utility vehicle. Built for military, government agencies, foresters, hunters, relief organizations, fire departments, and anyone who needed a car that could do more than just drive. It had to work. The interior was so Spartan that even an IKEA chair would feel like a luxury seat. And that's exactly the charm. Honesty, mechanics, no electronics, no sensors to babysit you, no touchscreen that crashes. If you have a problem with a W460, you see it, hear it, feel it. Not just a code telling you to visit the workshop. And here comes the most important point: the engines. The W460 was not just a car. It was a complete platform, which is why there were so many engines, from a small 4-cylinder petrol all the way to large inline-six diesels. And yes, there were even factory V8s, which we'll get to shortly. Let's start with the petrol engines. The base engine was the M115, a 2.3-litre 4-cylinder producing about 90 horsepower. And yes, it works, but if you think it's fast, think again. 90 horsepower in a G feels like 40 in a Golf. Uphill prayers are required, but it's simple, robust, carbureted, and if it runs, it keeps running. Typical drawbacks: high fuel consumption, oil leaks, and a constant question: are we actually overtaking or just observing? Next came the M102, the 230GE, also 2.3 litres but fuel injected, producing 122 horsepower. Many consider this the best entry-level choice. It has a little more power, still simple, and revs nicely. People often say the 230GE is like the G-Class Golf, slow but gets the job done. Some thermal sensitivity exists, the head gasket can be an issue, and fuel consumption under 14 litres per 100 kilometres is a dream. For those wanting more performance, there was the M110, 2.8 litres, inline-six, double overhead camshaft, up to 156 horsepower in the 280GE. This is the strong gentleman engine of the W460. Excellent running smoothness, fantastic sound, but true to the series, thirsty and maintenance intensive. Still, the 280GE remains one of the most sought-after engines today. Then the rarities: factory V8s, M116 with 3.5 litres and M117 with 5.0 litres. But almost exclusively for government agencies, diplomats, or special builds by firms like Trasco or Brabus. Today, these are collector's items, not typical used car options, and they're expensive. Now let's talk diesels, the real cult engines of the W460. It started with the OM615, a 2.4-litre inline-four diesel producing around 65 horsepower. Yes, it drives, but only if you have no rush. Acceleration? More a process than an event, but it's almost indestructible and can run on bad diesel, even heating oil or frying oil if needed. It's a purist dream. Then came the OM616, also 2.4 litres but 72 horsepower. Slightly faster, or at least less slow. Sounds like a sewing machine, runs forever, but you need to adjust the valve play regularly. If you want one, ideal for purists or adventure travellers who don't mind the pace. Things get really interesting with the OM617, the legendary 3.0-litre 5-cylinder diesel. Early versions 88 horsepower, later 94 horsepower. This engine is rightly famous. It runs until the body falls off the frame. It finally makes the G usable for everyday driving. Sounds like a miniature truck, pulls reliably, and only asks for fresh oil. Almost all W460s in tough global service use this engine. If you want one that will outlive you, pick the OM617. Later engines included the OM602 and OM603, 2.5-litre 5-cylinder and 3.0-litre inline-6 diesels, mostly in later W460 models, transitioning to the W461. These are more modern, slightly more fuel efficient, but also more complex. Many suffer from injection pump issues or head cracks in the OM603. Only buy these with complete service history. That covers the engines. Now the reality check. A W460 is not a cheap car. Regardless of purchase price, it will cost you after buying. Rust is the biggest enemy. Common spots: frame, spring mounts, sills, floor panels, A-pillars, rear crossmembers, structural supports under seats. A G can look great from the outside but be mostly air underneath. Many people buy a rusty G, unaware it's really 3 years of inspection paint and 2 bolts holding it together. Suspension: rear leaf springs, front coil springs, body on frame, solid axles, last forever if cared for. But repairs can be expensive. A set of steering knuckles, hundreds of dollars. New differentials, rare and pricey. Steering, some play as normal, but too much means parts that only a few dealers stock, and they know you have no choice. Interior: plastic, metal, a few switches that look recycled from a vacuum cleaner. But that's the charm. If you want luxury, buy a W463. If you want the truth, buy a W460. What you absolutely must watch for: spare parts are slowly getting scarce, prices are rising, and many W460s were heavily used. Hunters, military, Africa exports, dealer cars from Algeria, Lebanon, Switzerland, or Austria. Sometimes you buy a car showing 120,000 kilometers on the odometer, but it actually ran 420,000 kilometers and had the odometer swapped 3 times. Without proof, assume the worst. Typical weak points: rust, wheel bearings, steering gearbox, transfer case, clutch, diesel injection pumps, carburetor issues on early petrols, grounding points, sagging doors, heater failures, rusty fuel tanks. In short, you need tools, money, patience, or a good specialist. Why do people buy W460s anyway? Because there's no other vehicle that's simultaneously raw, honest, and iconic. No modern SUV has that angular military aura. A W460 is like an old-school tank with plates and lights. When you drive one, people don't ask how much it cost. They ask what you plan to do with it. That's the difference between a car and a legend. Is it a good investment? Yes. But only if you don't let it rot. A good W460 appreciates, a bad one becomes a money pit. And remember, originality matters. Engine swaps, big tyres, modified suspension. Cool for you, bad for collectors. If you want to see your investment later, stay close to stock. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, comment which W460 engine you would choose, and whether you'd rather rescue a rusty barn find or buy a fully restored example. And if you want more classic car buying guides, from Land Rover Defenders to Toyota Land Cruisers, subscribe to the channel. Here we don't talk about lease deals, we talk about cars that tell stories. Thanks for watching, stay handy with a wrench, and see you next time.